Good morning, students.
Good morning, ma'am.
How are you all?
We all
Fine,
are
ma'am.
perfectly well.
Good, good,
You
good.
tell how's you?
I'm also fine. Okay, students. Today we'll learn a very interesting topic. But before starting my topic, I'll ask you a few questions. If you know the answer, just raise your hands. Don't give me collective answers. Okay, students? Let's start. What do we call a person who sells goods and services?
Seller.
Yes, seller. What do we call a person who buys goods and services?
It's buyer.
Buyer.
Yes, very good. What does the term call in commerce where face-to-face sale is done?
Personal selling.
Yes, very good. So students, our topic for today's class is personal selling. First of all, take out your notebooks and start writing its meaning. Personal selling involves oral presentation of messages in the form of conversation with one or more buyers it is a personal form of communication. Form of communication. Students, what does this meaning depicts? It is an oral presentation of message with one or more buyer and it is known as personal form of communication. In personal selling, there is a buyer, there is a seller who interacts face to face directly. Let's take an example with the help of flashcard. Students, is it visible to all? Yes. Students, is it visible?
Visible है बच्चे.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, students, you can see in this flashcard, he is a buyer and he is a seller. Buyer said, I want to buy a cell phone. He says this to seller and seller replied, I will help you, sir. So we can clearly see in this flashcard that buyer and seller are interacting face to face and conversating with each other. Buyer is depicting his want, his wish, and seller is there to help him. Okay, students, understood the point?
Yes,
Shall we
ma'am.
proceed further?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, good. Now we'll discuss its importance. Students, write the points side by side on your notebooks. Now we'll discuss the importance. For its importance is to three people. First is businessman. How the personal selling helps the businessman. Is it visible to all?
बच्चे visible नहीं है, ये पढ़ा नहीं जाता कुछ भी.
सर अब ठीक है?
हाँ अब थोड़ा सा ठीक है। हाँ
Students, importance of personal selling to businessman. How personal selling helps the businessman? First point is it works as a promotional tool. How personal selling helps promotional tool? Because with the help of personal selling, it helps to increase sales of goods and services. Understood the point, students? Yes,
Yes,
anyone? Okay, students. First of all, tell me what are goods? Yes.
Goods are tangible products.
Yes, very good. And what are services?
They are intangible.
Very good, very good. So, a businessman use personal selling to increase sales and sales of goods and services. So, personal selling works as a promotional tool for the businessman. Second point is personal report. Students, how personal selling plays an important role for businessman as a personal report. Write down. It increases competitive strength by building personal record. Students, do you know the meaning of report? What is report? Yes, anyone? What is report?
Image.
Yes, you are near. Report exactly means reputation. Understood the point, students? Shall we proceed further?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The third and the last important point is flexible tool. Write down. It is flexible as it helps the business persons in adapting their offer, in varying purchase situations. Have you noted it down?
हाँ ठीक है
Yes,
वजह
ma'am.
बस कर ਇਹ ਲੈਸਨ ਪਲਾਨ ਦਾ ਉੱਪਰ ਨਾ ਤਾਂ ਲੈਸਨ ਪਲਾਨ ਨੰਬਰ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਨਾ ਹੀ ਉਹ ਆਇਡੈਂਟੀਫਿਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਇਨਫੋਰਮੇਸ਼ਨ ਹੈ ਸਾਰੀ।
हाँ जी, एक्चुअली सर मैं कल ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਘਰੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੀ, ਮੈਂ ਐਕਚੁਅਲੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਮੰਮਾ ਵੱਲ ਆਈ ਹੋਈ ਸੀ ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਪਿਕਸ ਮੰਗਵਾਈਆਂ ਸੀ, ਉਹ ਐਜ਼ ਇਟ ਇਜ਼ ਆਈਆਂ, ਮੈਂ ਨੰਬਰ ਪਾਣਾ ਹੈ ਹਜੇ, ਕੋਈ ਲੈਸਨ ਪਲਾਨ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ ਹਜੇ।
ठीक है चलो नेक्स्ट स्टूडेंट।
Good
Good
morning,
morning,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
Students, today we are going to learn about a very interesting topic. But before that, I am going to ask you a few questions. Anyone from you who knows the answer, just raise your hands and don't give me collective response. So students, as you all are aware about balance sheet, tell me what are the two different sides of balance sheet?
Assets and liabilities.
Yes, very good. And name the capital which is required to finance fixed assets.
Fixed capital.
Yes, very good, Pratibha. Which capital is required to finance day-to-day operations or current assets?
Working
Working
capital.
Yes, very good, Muskan. Very good, Pratibha. So today we are going to learn about working capital and its factors. Students, finance is the lifeblood of a business. It is required at every step. It is required at every step whenever the firm is required to purchase fixed assets. It will be in the form of fixed capital. When the firm is using it for satisfying day-to-day operations, it will become working capital. So open your notebooks and write down the meaning. Working capital is the short-term finance of the organization to run its day-to-day operations. Day-to-day operations here means the firm requires working capital to purchase raw material, to making payment to the debtor, to making payment to the creditors. So, for satisfying the day-to-day working or day-to-day operations, the firm is required working capital. So, there are two types of working capital. That is gross working capital and net working capital. Gross working capital and net working capital. Gross working capital refers to the amount of funds that are amount of finance for current assets. It is the amount we need to purchase current assets. It is the sum total of current assets. Students, give me two examples of current assets. Yes, anyone?
Cash in hand or
Yes.
stock. Bill receivables.
Very good, very good. Or current assets are the assets which are expected to be converted into cash within 1 year or 12 months. Current assets are bills receivable, debtors, stock, cash in hand, cash at bank. All the current assets. Sum total of current assets is the gross working capital. And now, net working capital is the excess of current assets over current liabilities. Current liabilities provides funds for purchasing current assets, and the excess of current assets over current liabilities is the net working capital. So, formula of calculating net working capital is current assets minus current liabilities. Current assets are cash in hand, cash at bank, stock, debtors, bills receivable, and current liabilities are creditors, bills payable, and so on. Now, is the concept is clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, we will learn about factors required for working capital. Factors determining requirement of working capital. The first factor is nature of business. Nature of business. Students, suppose there are two friends. We will study it with the help of examples. Suppose there are two friends, Vikram and Vikas. They both started business. He started the business of manufacturing, and Vikas starts business of trading. Vikram, who starts manufacturing business, he needs finance in every step. He has to purchase raw material, has to make payments to creditors, and convert the raw material into finished goods. He needs funds in every day-to-day operation. So Vikram needs more working capital. And Vikas is trading. Trading means sale and purchase. He will purchase the goods and then sell it to the customers. So in trading, there is no any activity of converting raw materials into finished goods. So in this case, he requires less working capital. This is the nature of business. Working capital requirement depends upon nature of business. In manufacturing concern, there is a requirement of more working capital. In trading firms, the requirement of working capital is less. In service sector also, there is no any activity of production of converting raw material into finished goods. So in service sector, there is less requirement of working capital.
ठीक है बच्चे, बस कर ठीक है, गुड, वेरी गुड. हाँ, अच्छा. नेक्स्ट स्टूडेंट.
Good morning, students. Today we are going to start with a new topic. But before starting, I will like to ask you a question. So don't give collective responses. Just raise your hand. Okay. Now my first question is, what do you mean by motivation? Students, what do you mean by motivation? Any one of you?
It's a driving force.
Yes.
Is
Anyone
encouraging
else?
someone.
Sorry, can you repeat?
Encouraging someone.
Yes, very good. Now tell me, in an organization, how do workers or employees are motivated?
Through financial and non-financial techniques.
Very good, very good. Yes, Herman, what do you want to say?
Incentives, good remarks.
Very good, Herman. Very good, Madhu. Very good. Superb. Now today's topic is incentives. In every organization, incentives are used, various incentives are used to motivate people to work for the organization or to increase their performance. So what do incentive means? These are all the measures students, please write down in your notebooks all the measures used to motivate workers to improve performance. So if the performance will be improved, the productivity will automatically be removed. If the by giving incentives, the person will get motivated, and if the person will be motivated, they'll increase their performance, and by increasing the performance, the organization will increase their profits. Okay, so there are various kinds of incentives that is used by an organization. So they are basically divided into two incentives. Is the chart visible?
Yes,
Is it
ma'am.
visible? Okay. So the incentives are basically of two kinds. First is financial incentives and the other is non-financial incentives. First of all, we will study about the financial incentives. So what are financial assets? These are financial incentives. These are measured in terms of money. So they are known as monetary incentives. All the financial incentives are given in the form of money to the employees, so they fulfill their basic needs, because every employee needs money. Every worker works to earn money, so financial incentives are provided in the form of money, so they are known as monetary incentives. Next is, they are suitable for lower level managers. Why they are suitable for lower level managers? Because as they work at the lower level, because only motive is to earn money. Okay, they are working at lower level to fulfill their basic needs, because they are not able to fulfill their basic needs. So these are basically suitable for lower level managers. Okay, and the last is, they satisfy basic psychological needs. Sorry, physiological needs. So what are basic physiological needs? You have learned in the motivation. What is basic
Food,
physiological needs?
shelter, food, shelter,
Yes,
clothing.
yes, very good. So to fulfill the basic physiological needs of the employees, these financial incentives are given. And these financial incentives are of various types. Students, give me some examples of financial incentives which an organization can give.
Bonus,
Yes. Anyone else?
Perks.
Very good. Okay, so the financial incentives can be broadly classified further. The first is pay and allowance. Okay, so what is pay and allowance? So pay and allowance means the basic pay, the basic salary that employees are offered. Pay and allowance consists of basic salary or pay that is given to the employees on regular intervals, and allowances are of different types, that is dearness allowance, etc. So these are also given at regular intervals on the basis of what the person is working, for what the person is working. So they are paid, given the salary or the basic pay in the form of financial incentive, that is in the form of money. Next comes the profit sharing. Students, what do you mean by profits? What do you mean by profits? Anyone?
the firm which earns after the sales and minus cost.
Yes. Anyone else?
The extra
Gain.
money earned by the company.
Very good, very good. So so profits are the financial gain. Financial gains. So what happens in this type of incentives? Profit is, so the word is profit sharing. What do you mean by sharing? What do you mean by sharing? Anyone?
To divide. To divide.
Yes. You can also say to divide, or you can also term as that distributing. Okay. So profit is, financial gain is distributed among employees. So profit sharing means in this incentive, the profits are distributed among employees. So when the employee is aware that the company is going to share its profits with them, right? Then the employee is aware about this. So they will, of course, they will increase their performance. They will work hard so as to increase the profits of a company, so that because they know that how much extra the company will earn, they'll also get that share in that particular profits. Okay. Next comes the co-partnership. What is this? Co-partnership. Now students, what is partnership? You have learned in the accounts what is partnership. Any one of you, what is partnership?
In which two or more persons come together to form a business.
Very good, Pooja. So, in partnership is something when two or more persons come to operate the business and to share the profits. In the partnerships, two or more persons operate the business or share the profits. But what happens in co-partnership? This incentive is given to the employees, and in this, the employees are given. The employees become the some like you can say for some purpose they becomes the partners of the firm. Okay, so for example they becomes the partners of the firm and they get the company shares at the price lower than the market price. Suppose a company is selling its shares in the market at rupees 110, but to provide co-partnership incentive, they will give their employees the shares at a price less than that. Suppose they are giving the price in the market at 110, they will provide their shares to their employees at rupees 100. So this is 10 less than the actual market price. So in this co-partnership, the employees are offered company shares at lower price. Okay, is it clear?
ठीक है बच्चे, बस कर, ठीक है.
Okay.
नेक्स्ट स्टूडेंट.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Aman. First of all, I would ask few questions. Don't give me collective response. Just raise your hands. My first question is, from where you buy a product?
Market.
Very good, Mansi. Very good, Pooja. Now my next question is, who manufacture or who produce the product?
Producer or the manufacturer.
Yes, very good, Pooja. Now my next question is, who purchase that product?
Customers or the buyers.
Yes, very good, Pooja. Now my next question is, what a person called who act as a link between manufacturer and a consumer?
Retailer. Wholesaler. Retailer. Wholesaler.
Yes, or we can say that middleman. Middleman. So my last question is, name the process in which middlemen act as a person who transfer goods from place of production to the place of consumption. Yes, anybody?
Please repeat the question.
Tell the process in which middleman transfers the goods from place of production to the place of consumption.
He act as a wholesaler.
Please repeat one.
बच्चे डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन चैनल.
Yes. Today's topic is channel of distribution. Channel of distribution. Now open your notebooks and write the meaning of channel of distribution. Meaning. It is a physical distribution of goods through a middleman from place of production to a place of consumption. Channel of distribution is that it is a physical distribution of goods from a person who act as a link between manufacturer and a consumer. So we can say that channel of distribution is that we can use in between. For example, we can use as a transfer of goods from the place of production to the place of consumption. So it is the most important function of marketer, where first it manufacture the good. Now here question is how to transfer the goods to the consumer. A company hires a middleman to transfer the goods from place of production to the place of consumption. I hope you understand the meaning of channel of distribution. Yes, anybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now write the definition of channel of distribution. Definition. According to Allen, market channels involves various interdependent organizations that are required to transfer goods from producer to the consumer. From producer to the consumer. Basically, channel of distribution involves various interdependent organizations that are required to transfer goods from. Basically, there are four agencies that are required to transfer the goods from place of production to the consumer. First is manufacturer, second is manufacturer, then second is wholesaler, then third is retailer, then fourth is consumer. So we can say that it involves various interdependent organizations, or we can say interdependent agents that are required to transfer of goods from place of production to the place of consumption. I hope you understand that definition. Yes, anybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now I will show the hanging of various agencies. Is it visible to you? Yes, anybody? So visible है?
हाँ बच्चे visible है.
Yes.
Now tell me what is written over here.
Channels of distribution.
Or first point, what is written over here?
Manufacturer. Manufacturer.
Manufacturer. Now write who is manufacturer. Manufacturer is a person who produces the goods in a bulk purchases. Now here question is how a manufacturer contact with a customer. He hires some middleman he hires some middleman to contact with the customers, or we can say that give high. This middleman is known as basically wholesaler. Now I will explain with the help of an example. Is it visible to you? Visible है आपको सबको?
हाँ बच्चे.
Yes.
Okay. Manufacturer is a person who purchase goods or sell to the wholesaler. We can say that in this flashcard, manufacturer is a seller who sells the goods, and in this wholesaler is a buyer who purchase goods in a bulk quantity. So we can say that manufacturer is a person that requires in a channel of wholesaler. Manufacturer is a first agent that require in a channel of distribution. I hope you understand the first meaning of agent that is required in a channel of distribution manufacturer.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now second agent is wholesaler. Is it visible to you?
हाँ दिखा दो, दिखाने में क्या बात है.
Yes.
Okay. Now, who is wholesaler? Wholesaler is a person that purchase goods from in a bulk quantity from the manufacturer to contact the customer. Now, wholesaler
सिंपल सी बात है, सिंपल सी बात
is a link between manufacturer
है. ये ना मैंने मैडम को तनख्वाह दी नहीं.
and the retailer.
भूल कैसे जाएगी, कोई बात नहीं.
I will explain with the help of flashcard. Is it visible to you? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Wholesaler is a person who purchase goods from the manufacturer in large quantity and sell the person who is a retailer in small quantities. Now, wholesaler is a act or a link between manufacturer and a retailer. If a wholesaler purchase goods, then he will become a buyer. If a wholesaler sell goods to a retailer in small quantities, he will become a seller. I hope you understand the wholesaler is a act as a link between manufacturer and a retailer. I hope you understand.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now tell me, a manufacturer sell goods in large quantity to whom?
महीने का पड़ा है. तो आपका कम से कम 3,500 रुपया है.
Yes, anybody?
Wholesaler.
Yes. Or who is a person act as a link between manufacturer and a retailer?
अगर आपने ये नहीं देना है
Wholesaler.
तो कम
Yes. I hope you understand the first two agents that are required to in a channel of distribution.
क्लास तो फिर करवानी है.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now the third person that is required in channel of distribution is what is written over here? Third party.
तभी पहली में जाएगा. ये जो 3,500 रुपया आपका पिछले साल का हमारे पास में बाकी है.
Maybe retailer.
Yes, retailer. Now who is retailer? Retailer is a person. Retailer is basically a person who purchase goods from wholesaler and sell to
मैंने तो कहा ही नहीं कि अभी दे दो. मैंने तो
customer. So we can say that it is a link between wholesaler and a customer.
2500 मुझे तो
Is it visible to you?
मैंने तो तनख्वाह दी है मैडम को.
Yes, ma'am.
कह दिया है नहीं. समझो मेरी बात.
Okay. Now, retailer is a person who purchase goods in a small quantities from the wholesaler or sell it to customer in small quantities. So we can say that retailer is a link between wholesaler and customer. Retailer, if a retailer purchase goods from the wholesaler, then he will become a buyer.
तनख्वाह पड़ी है इनकी बाकी.
If a same person sell goods to a customer, then he will become a seller. I hope you understand the concept of retailer.
मेरे पास भी जब आएंगे
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now the last agent that is required in a channel of distribution. Is it visible to you? Now tell me what is written over here.
No, ma'am. It's not visible.
आपको पैसे
अब visible
No,
है?
ma'am. No, ma'am.
साल बच रहा है उसका 1000
No, ma'am.
Consumer.
ठीक है नहीं
Yes.
Visible है.
बात है
Yes. Okay. Now the fourth agent that is required
जो है आपका वो 1200 रुपए एडमिशन फीस
in a channel of distribution, that is final consumer.
यहाँ पर 1200 रुपए आपकी एडमिशन फीस है बाकी किताबों का पहली क्लास में
Consumer is a person that purchase goods from. Consumer is a person that purchase goods from retailer.
2000 एडमिशन फीस मेरी पिछले साल
Now, consumer is a person that purchase goods from a shop, or we can say that a retailer in a small quantity for direct consumption. I hope. Is it visible to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now consumer is a person who purchase goods from retailer in a small quantities that is required for personal consumption. So we can say that a retailer is a link. Consumer purchases.
ਬੱਚੇ ਬਸ ਕਰ ਇੱਕ ਤਾਂ ਨਾ ਪੀਕੇ ਟੈਸਟਿੰਗ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਉਹਦੇ ਚ ਇੰਪਰੂਵਮੈਂਟ ਦੀ ਜ਼ਰੂਰਤ ਹੈ
ठीक है
ਠੀਕ
सर.
ਹੈ ਔਰ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮਾਡਲ ਬਣਾਇਆ ਨਾ ਬੱਚੇ ਮਾਡਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗਾ ਇਹ ਤਾਂ
ਠੀਕ ਹੈ
ਹੈਂਗਿੰਗ
sir.
ਹੈਗਾ ਦਿਖਾਓ ਜਰਾ ਮਾਡਲ ਹਾਂ ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਨਾ ਹੈਂਗਿੰਗ ਹੈ ਇਹ ਤਾਂ 2D ਜੀ ਹੈਗਾ ਮਾਡਲ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਜਸਟ ਇੱਕ
ਹਾਂਜੀ.
ਚਾਰਟ ਹੈ ਚਾਰਟ ਤੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਚਪਕਾਇਆ ਤਾਂ ਪੱਟੀਆਂ ਕੱਟ ਕੇ ਲਗਾਤੀਆਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੇ ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਇਹ ਮਾਡਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗਾ ਮਾਡਲ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਉਹ 3D ਮਾਡਲ ਹੋਇਆ ਕਰਦਾ ਠੀਕ ਹੈ
ठीक है सर.
3 डायमेंशंस होंगी x y z ठीक है
ठीक है सर.
लंबाई चौड़ाई ऊंचाई 3 होंगी हाँ
सर ठीक है.
बाकी ठीक है बच्चे तरह